Good evening to After the Buzzer, Exeter and Districts. A little chat with different teams and different personnel from around the district. Tonight, I'm pleased to welcome Adam and George from Tiverton Titans. Welcome, the pair of you.
Hi, Carl. Good evening.
Hello, Carl. How's it going?
Not too bad, thank you. Thanks for making time to have a chat. So, lots of these little discussion about yourself, how you got into basketball, things like that. But I want to focus primarily at the moment, Tiverton Titans. So, what a story. All right. How long ago was it? It was formed?
10 years.
And
2015 was when the journey started, Carl.
so pre-COVID, and COVID doesn't help anyone with the way basketball was. And what sort of setup did you have back then, Adam?
So back in 2015, it started basically one of the ladies at the high school, a lady called Mandy. She's the one we got to thank for it all because she spotted this gap that there was no one playing basketball in Tiverton. She managed to source a little bit of funding locally and set up some open sessions down at the high school. And actually, the original person that was doing those sessions that you found was Ben Roberts,
Yeah,
who's
yeah.
obviously now at Spartans. And there was some open sessions running at the time. Anyone turned up, and there was a few activities going. Ben unfortunately had to move away. He obviously ended up in Exeter,
Hmm.
and and she managed to bring in Dave Samuels, who, if you've been around long enough to see Titans from the beginning, you'll recognise Dave and may
Yeah.
well know him from other things as well. So he came in, and that's when things started to kind of formally set up a little bit more, I guess, as an actual club. And he gave myself and Shane at the time the kind of help to what we'd need to do to be a proper club. And with that, we were actually launched initially as a satellite club under Exeter Eagles.
Okay, yeah,
So
yeah. So Dave
all of
Samuels.
our
Yeah.
yeah, all of our membership and stuff was done through that. And it was then about a year later that we first entered into the league in Exeter and District in 2016.
I was going to say, I was trying to work out when is it been that long, 2016, that
Yeah,
you
it has, but we tried to erase the first 2 or 3 years, Carl, because we weren't quite the team then that we are now.
No, but forming a team and getting a settled team and into the league, um, and those first formative years are very difficult, aren't they?
Well, they are because you haven't got a clue what you're doing. It's uh, it's a bit like when you have a child and you think there's going to be a manual or something that comes along, and no, you just kind of bumble along trying to figure it out as you go, trying to get the advice from people that you can, and initially just trying to stay afloat, to be honest, financially as much as anything, just trying to get enough people in the hall to pay for it, and then enough people to pay for the league and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, you're just trying to survive before you even think about trying to be any good at it.
But you've persevered, and last season, obviously, Division Two champions.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I say, the first 2 years, it took us 2 years before we won a game. So the first, we went two full seasons without winning a game. Then the next year, I remember it well because, believe it or not, our first game that we won was away in Weymouth, of all places.
Okay, yeah,
We won away in Weymouth, and then things we managed to get some wins on the board after that, but still quite sporadic. Lots of people along the way to help that journey. And really, I mean, our breakthrough season, if you like, was the one before last, when one of our own, Ryan, kind of stepped in to help and exclusively coach rather than just playing. And we won, I think, 6 or 7 games that year. And obviously, things took a serious step change when George joined us last summer, and things became a bit more serious across in Tiverton with fitness and skills and everything else that I'll let George talk to you about.
yes. I was gonna go on to that. So
And yeah, last year, bar the one loss, a pretty unblemished season and good fun. Environment's amazing, and obviously it always helps when you're winning.
it does, yeah. Very difficult to keep a team together in those first few years without a win. It is a very difficult, and everyone will be vying for that first win. I can't believe it was all the way to Weymouth to get it, but
Yeah, well, the mad thing was it was all the way to Weymouth, and I think we won by about 30 or 40 points in the end. It was something stupid. Um, but yeah, we struggled to get over the hump, and then bit of that psychological barrier went after that.
yeah. And like you said, it makes a difference having a coach solely on the sidelines rather than a player coach, or trying to look after two roles just doesn't do any role
No, it doesn't
justice.
work,
No.
or it certainly makes hard work of it anyway.
So we come on to because George has been sat there very quiet, which is unusual
I've
for
never
me.
known him go this
I
long
know.
without speaking.
He was moving his camera around a bit, which is making me a bit seasick at times, but
I was just putting it on charge.
no. um, George, you come along, obviously, coaching, um, and I've seen quite a few videos going by lately of some off-season training, should we say? Is this the regime that's now Tiverton Titans?
Well, yeah, pretty much. They love it. I mean, when I first turned up, there was no real direction. They were doing 2 hours of scrimmaging on a Friday, and there was no sort of working on skills and drills of individuals trying to make them better as a whole. And then team tactics and stuff weren't really a part of it. So I got invited to go along as helping them out coaching by both the Adams, and it was basically like throwing me as a match into the tinderbox. So it was like throwing a match on a load of hay. They were absolutely ready for it, and they took on board everything I was saying. I explained everything the way I wanted it, and then they've just gone nuts with it. And then I sort of say to them, I used to give them optional extra fizz or extra training, like a horrible circuit at the last 10 minutes of training. And I remember, I think it was the fifth training session. I said, "Oh, lads, we don't need to do that 10-minute session if you don't want. We can just crack on." And they were like looking at me like, "What? What do you mean?" No, 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 we want to do it. And like, honestly, some of them are lunge 2 laps of the court, and every time you stop, you've got to do 5 press ups, and you add 5 every time you stop. And they were just absolutely dangling at the end of it. And then they came up, high-fived me, and said, "Thanks." I was like, "Sounds."
So I was going to say, was it really optional? But you sort of answered that yourself.
Yeah, well, I mean, it genuinely is optional, but when the young lads see the older lads doing it, because the older lads, they know that it's going to have benefit, mind sight over eyesight. They know that the process and the way it's doing it. And I mean, for the amount of years I've been playing and sort of helping out coaching, they're buying into that. So I'm trying to almost give them the short course or the most effective way of doing it. And then they've just off out of the training sessions, they've just been sending it themselves. So it's been brilliant.
So yeah, with the off season you're having, obviously next season's looking like you're obviously going to need new kits because slimmer kits for everyone.
Well, yeah, slimmer kits and maybe more kits because, like I say, we're going to put 2 teams in. We'll have a development team for lads that either can't make games or struggle or anything, and then first team's going to be pushing a little bit more harsh on. But both teams, the aim is to have both teams training together on a Friday, which is mega useful.
And that's where I suppose we come to with the first team on the Friday and the second team on the Tuesday down at Tiverton still, isn't it? I think if I got it right.
Yeah,
Yeah. You've almost got the first team with the evolution that's happened there, and it's almost not quite, but almost like going back to square one. It's like starting again with the second team, the same sort of journey, even
Yeah.
back to the same match days that they used to be at the same venue. So, well, let's see if we can have some success with that. But if nothing else, it gives us the opportunity to get more people playing and give them the place to get out and express themselves as well, rather than just having a team of 10 or 12 or whatever. We can accommodate more.
And any old friends coming back, past players coming back for the second team, or is it? I think there was a few faces not there in recent years, or definitely last season from memory.
Well, the ones that you're thinking of, I would imagine, aren't this year. So I'm guessing you're probably thinking of Big Luke for a start, because he was
Yeah,
quite a key figure for us for a long, long time. And
yeah.
ironically, last year was the first year that he chose not to play, actually. Um, but I think he's found himself other commitments in between times. So
Right.
we have obviously got more new players and
Yeah,
old players. I think we're up to sort of 20 to 25 currently that are wanting to play next year. And of that, some older faces, but not necessarily from Tiverton teams. So
right.
the old Colne Valley Comets teams. Obviously, it's the same sort of geographic area. So
Yeah.
some of those guys are the sorts of ones that have been really enthused by what they've seen on social media, funnily
Yeah.
enough.
All right. So is there any sort of link up there with the old Colne Valley Comets in any way?
Nice segue there, Carl. Yes, yes, there is. So through the course of last year, I mean, I've always tried to help out Steve where I can at Comets because, I mean, if I'm honest, without Steve, we wouldn't be here in those first years in particular. Steve ran our table. He helped train our girls that do the table. And even now, if we need some support, he's always available. So in return, if Steve needs some extra support coaching the kids, myself, George, or Adam get involved. I mean, they've both got children there now anyway. So we do some pieces like that, and we've very much sort of strengthened our links with Comets and some of our I was going to say under 18s, but certainly younger adults or older teens. There's a pathway there for them as well.
That's good. That's good. And what about females? Any option there? Ladies team coming along or?
Give us a chance, Carl.
Oh, I'm just asking. I'm just curious. We get plenty of responses from females that want basketball. It's finding the locations for them.
If I'm honest, Carl, we've got quite grand plans for over the course of the next few years, and I'm having to try and hold the reins quite tightly on George in particular and on Adam because the vision down the line is to have a proper youth setup, to have a ladies team. George is even talking about wheelchair basketball and walk-in basketball and whatever he can fit in. So I'm keen to kind of grow it slowly and securely to
Yeah.
make sure that we get the basis in. And also opportunity, to be honest. It's as much about logistics and court space. So we have already started to explore what extra bookings we can get. And in reality, once we know we've got those bookings, we will be loud and proud all over social media for children, for ladies, for whatever things we can facilitate.
Yeah. It's it's tough, isn't it, finding court time? Logistically, it's I know from my own team, I struggle to find game time, let alone training time around Exeter. It's very they're very scarce, the courts, etc. So you've got a good setup there, and hopefully, that will long continue.
Well, I think all of us experience the pain when it comes to exam season. I think a large proportion of the teams obviously use school facilities, and you get to exam season, and suddenly we're all fighting over the limited number of courts that are available in the sort of Exeter area. I mean, our saving grace really was being able to pick up that Uffcombe court, as well as the fact that it's a much nicer court to play on. It gave us the opportunity to have that twice a week training and moving forward the option for 2 different nights for games, which has been an absolute game changer.
Okay. Going to come to you now, George. I don't want you falling asleep there on the chair. You're looking very
Yeah,
comfy.
sorry, you
I'm
have to
not,
show
mate.
me
It's
set
even
up.
worse. I'm on my pit. I'm on my bed. Kids are downstairs. If I was downstairs, kids would be like that. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well,
Yeah. Um, Obviously, player, very, very strong player, but you've taken to coaching like a duck to water from different
it's good.
people I've
Yeah,
seen.
I enjoy it. I mean, I first started doing it properly when I sort of had a bit of a heart injury. So it was my heart went a bit strange, and then just to sort of keep my hand in and help out, it was well, I'll do a bit of coaching and stuff. And then you know what I'm like. I used to play for you. I don't like being rubbish at stuff. So then I've just sort of applied myself to getting better at that. And then it's sort of I've been able to give people the information in maybe different ways and getting them to develop and really enjoyable seeing people improve and a win to me. I mean, we did do really well last season, don't get me wrong, but again, I look at the wins as an individual doesn't get anything wrong, or somebody scores more points than they normally do, or they're a bit fitter and they're happier. The morale's the win for me, really. But everyone's really buying into it and really helpful as well. So if I say, right, we're going to do this, I'll tell them why, and then it's just absolutely send it, and then they get the improvement, and it makes you feel good, doesn't it, when you're
Yeah.
helping out? Um,
How do you take to, so talking about myself now, I've coached women's teams and blokes teams, and I
yep,
struggle coaching blokes. To be completely honest, almost like give me a women's team any day of the week because they tend to listen.
they
Um,
do, and there's no prejudgment. See, I've had it at work when you're sort of teaching shooting. So you're teaching people weapon systems, and you get some lads assume knowledge, whereas whenever I've taught women things, it's instant, I know best, I know this. Or they think they know more than they do, which is, it is what it is. And they don't like to be sort of shown up in a group environment. Whereas I think with the lads, because I can demo a lot of the stuff really well, and or I am fitter just because of work and just general stuff. It's one of them. I don't know. I do get where you're coming from with the sort of explaining things.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I yeah, I struggle coaching blokes, whereas ladies' team is sort of all ears and ready. Maybe it's the fact they haven't played the game as long, or maybe they respect me more. Maybe that's the answer. I found someone who respects me.
Nah, mate, Carl, I used to play for you. I used to love playing with you. It was good. It
What I
was
would
really good.
say, what I would say, Carl, as a player in that mix, what's really key and what really drives it is the environment. So George's sessions, I'll make him blush now, are absolutely bang on. So they're organised to the minute. The energy within the room is really high. There's and because we've now got a core of guys that absolutely love it, there's just no room for not listening or not doing what needs to happen because George doesn't need to jump on them. Everybody else will. Like everybody wants to absolutely maximize those sessions, and we've all got faith in that what George is telling us is what we need to do. So
So you got the peer pressure there as well.
yeah, you got the peer
Yeah.
pressure, and actually, in a weird sort of way, even that horrible 10 minutes at the end, it's fun, and I don't know how it's fun because it shouldn't be, but uh, but
I
yeah,
do it with you as well. I do it with you.
he does. He does, yeah.
I've seen. I don't know if you ever saw the clip, but Vaughan Thomas who used to play at Broadcliffe. I don't know if the name rings a bell with you, but I mean he was still playing at 75. God bless him. Um, and a clip emerged where BBC filmed him when he was at, I think it was Loughborough University, and he took three basketball players on a running machine, hooked up with the oxygen mask, for checking their lung capacity and recovery capacity, and use of oxygen replacement, all that, and he beasted them. I'm the You watch this. It was in black and white, and you watched how these people didn't end up dropping dead at the end of it. I do not know because they were coming off throwing up basically off
Yeah,
these.
Carl. Let me just get a pen, mate. Let me write that down. Let me just write that down. Just write
Oh,
that
come
down.
on, Carl. We got training tomorrow night.
It's all right. It's at Ufcombe. They haven't got any running machines. Oh, they have. Yes, they have, haven't they? Sorry. Yeah.
Trainers and floor. That's all I need.
No. Right. Back to yourselves now. We've talked about Titans a bit. I just wanted to get that in at the beginning. Adam, where did you start basketball then? How old were you, and what got you into the basketball game?
So I think, like a lot of the guys that we hear from, I basically played at school and college, and as I now realise, at a very poor standard, because we didn't really have the quality of coaching, certainly back then in the 1990s, um, to really bring us along. And then from there was actually a chap. I don't know if you know him. Remember Chris Rook,
Yeah.
who actually took on a team in Barnstable. So I played initially as a kid with the old North Devon team when they were in South Molton, um, back there, and then say Chris took on a team, and we did quite well. And then basically adulthood got in the way with family and work and all of that really boring stuff. So I kind of drifted away from it. Um, I don't know. I suppose it must have been 15, possibly even 20 years before it all kicked off back again in Tiverton. And because the opportunity presented itself, I kind of threw myself headstrong into it. And as is my nature, quite quickly wasn't just participating, but kind of getting involved in trying to get something more permanent set up. And it's been my baby ever since, really.
And it must have been good to have the good wife there doing the table and that side of things.
It's very much a family affair. As you know, Michelle has been really supportive. One of the time that I spend out and about because now, as George mentioned, morale's really high. So that does include drinks in the pub afterwards on a Friday night.
Right. It's all part of the parcel.
all part of it. Some would argue quite, the most important part.
Very much so in the most important part. Drinking club with a basketball problem.
I think we need to credit Mr. Radford there. That's Rich Radford's quote.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So yeah, Michelle, as well as that support, has always been there through the club. So as you referenced, she learned to do the table, having never had anything to do with basketball. So before she learned the table, she never watched a game, didn't know the rules or anything else. So there's an advert there for anybody's friends, girlfriends, whatever, to get involved because you don't have to know it. It's quite a good way to learn it, is what she tells me. Um, and also, as you're privy to, Carl, she actually did do the refereeing course as well. Before, unfortunately, her health meant she couldn't pursue it. She was actually going to be our designated referee as well. So I'm very lucky to have that level of support as well as the kids coming along to the games and all that kind of stuff as
Yeah,
well.
that's
So,
great. It'd be wrong of me not to ask, how is she? She doing well?
yeah, she's okay.
Good.
She's okay. Obviously, her health wasn't great back end of the last year and beginning of this year. Things are slowly returning to normal. She's not the most patient type, so not quite as quickly as she might like. But no, she's doing well. Thanks, Carl.
Good. Ideal. George, to you then. What got you the bug and when?
It was really strange. So I was at primary school, and my mum bought me. I got a basketball bought for me, and it was like one of them USA ones, like a red, white, and blue, horrible rubbery thing.
Yep.
And I didn't have a basket. I just used to throw it through the eaves in the shelter in the yard on my own because I wasn't a massive fan of football, and then sort of left it there a bit. Went to high school. Didn't really play in the first instance. Didn't play till I was sort of 14, 15. Picked it back up again, playing for school. Went down on a Saturday into Burnley, the old Lancashire in Burnley, um, and then started playing on a Saturday. They got invited me to the men's team. Started playing on the men's team. Played for the men's. Then I went across to Bradford Dragons. I don't Div 3, I think it was, coached by a guy called Chris Mellor. He was a ex under 23 England player, really good bloke. He taught me loads and loads and loads. And then sort of after that, joined the military, joined the Marines, joined the core team, played for you for season, 2 seasons or whatever it was. Got on the Marines team, got on the Navy team, got to the combined team, played at Exmouth because they had a training session. Because I changed from your team to them just so I had a training session. And then, yeah, played for Exmouth for a little while, helped coach when I got injured, had a bit of an incident, and then came across to Titans. I nearly, just before I went across to the Titans as well, I was about to give up completely. And then just got a little text message saying, would you come and coach us? And I was like, yeah, I will. And that was it. That was me in there. It was really good.
And you coach for the forces as well, don't you?
Yeah, I'm currently
Yeah.
the head coach of the Navy.
Yeah.
So I coach the Navy and the Marines. Name got put forward for the combined service coach, but not this year, unfortunately. So I'll be looking for next year. I'll be coaching the combined services. They do a tournament in Belgium in a place called Shape, a camp in Mons, and I'll be hopefully head coach of the whole military at some point, which will be useful.
I don't know if you know this. Did you know they used to have we in the league? We used to have a Marines team. Were you aware?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I remember the lads telling me about that. There's just
Yeah.
the lads. There isn't enough lads down at Livingston or nearabouts to jump in. I mean, there's a guy, Callum Oswick. He plays for the team up in Taunton, the Tornadoes.
Tornadoes, right?
Yeah. And there's a couple of few like sort of dotting about because Henry used to be in the army.
Yeah.
He plays for Spartans. But yeah, it's just trying to because on the weekends, like we train on a Friday, lads all go home. So trying to
Well,
get lads to
I say
hang
what a different
around is
world. Yeah.
exactly that. But yeah,
So all looking good then for Tiverton going forward.
but I think so. I mean, we've got a really good bunch of lads, and once lads turn up, we've had a few newbies turn up and young lads, a couple of 16, 17, 19-year-old lads, some older lads, and once they start, they don't stop, which is ideal. I mean, I do put about half an hour to an hour into planning the session, and it pays off because I put the session on the group as well, so they can see what's coming, and they can see what's coming, and they still turn up. So I must be doing something right. Do you know what I mean? Even the thrashing at the end, even the thrashing, I tell them what the thrashing's going to be, and they're like, ah, sweet. So yeah, look, it's looking good. It's just if we can get the numbers, and it's numbers is everything, getting people to turn up, and then we can have everybody together. Tuesday can be a sort of open run unless there's a game on, so we can still keep attracting players, and have got, because it can be a bit intimidating, and I know some players don't want to turn up and play in the league. So I want to start encouraging players to just come along and have a go,
Yeah.
and then they can develop if they want, and then eventually down the line they might want to play, but they'll get fitter, they'll get healthier, they'll get happier. So morale is the main thing, and then it's a training aid for me. So then I can have potentially 4, 5, 6 lads down one end that are just having a run around, and my lads can use them as a sort of a team, unknown team, instead of them knowing what's going on. It's more realistic.
Yeah, and talking about training aids, there's another link there. See, Adam, I'm just going to drop this in. Talking about training aids, does the old the swimming, whatever they're called, still come out? You know, the doodle.
Yes, I
Yeah,
can vouch that we do get smacked with the old woggle stick or whatever they are, Carl.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
what they're called officially.
swimming. It's a noodle. It's definitely a noodle. Yeah, I
Noodle,
smash
that's
them
it.
with a noodle.
Noodle,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, 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 yeah. They get it with a noodle. Yeah.
I know I got when I was started coaching the girls. Who was it? Oh, Keith Henman gave me a load of his old training stuff and had the old the big pad, like the rugby pads where they bounce in them, and basically that to give people oof, and an old boxing mitt, I think it was, to give them a clip over the head as they're going for layups and stuff. And it's like,
Exactly that. Yeah, mate, it works. It works, and it's morale hitting them as well. Brilliant.
He's
I mean, it
got
doesn't
quite
hurt him. It's just to
he's
put them
got
off,
quite a toolkit, Carl. He's got quite a lot of tricks in his bag and weapons and
just
all
worry
sorts of
if he
stuff.
starts taking the pliers out. That's what I'd be a bit worried about. No, a lot of preparation needs to go into coaching. As you say, it's not just you can, but it's not the best sessions where they're planned in advance. You can't just show up and right, we'll have a bit of this and just few layups, few running up and down, bit of dribbling, and then all right, that's 10 minutes gone. Let's have a scrummage sort of thing. And to be fair, that's probably where Tiverton Titans started, and where most teams start. Adam, if we're honest, isn't it?
Well, I think initially it's about bodies, isn't it? And you get bodies in, and most people, when they rock up, they at least think that's what they want to do, that they just want to scrimmage, And initially, when it was kind of muted that we'd be having structured sessions, you kind of wondered whether there might be a bit of pushback. But actually, completely the opposite. Everyone absolutely lapped it up. And obviously, we still have time for scrims within the sessions, but they're maximised. So George will run maybe a 5 or 6 minute scrim with a break, and then something in between, and then go again. So you're not just constantly running around for hours on end. When it ends up just being like the playground of who can run the most.
Mm.
I love to ask this of everyone. So if you've seen anything already, I already asked most. So you're obviously well prepared. Adam, what's your most embarrassing moment in basketball?
Oh God, there's one every week, Carl.
George is there. He can think about it now. What's your answering?
Oh God. I don't know. I mean, to be honest, I struggle some weeks to just catch a ball, Carl. So, that's not ideal. Um, it will involve some kind of falling over at somewhere, something, because George will, I'm sure, back me up that I'm, other than possibly Charles, the most clumsy player on the squad. So, yeah, I'm frequently on my backside. Um, yeah, be quite hard to narrow it down to one embarrassing moment. I think I'm just over it now, Carl. You know.
Fair enough. Go on then, George. Have you thought of any?
Yeah, so the biggest one for me, it was more of a humbling than an embarrassing one. So this is an absolute cracker. So I'd joined the military and was, the big I am. And I was playing this game, and one of the referees was this older guy. And me being me, getting really into it, getting a little bit aggy, starts like laying into him because he was being mega biased, but it was like overly obvious. So it was a Marines team playing against a Civvy team, and this old guy was calling stuff that was just, and I was getting wound up. So anyway, I started giving it him, Anyway, time out, and someone leant over to me and said, "You do realise he's a lieutenant colonel?" And I'm like, "You say again?" So the bloke had been in about 28 years. He'd done Northern Ireland. He'd done, he's got more medals than proper ones as well, like, conflict ones. And I was like, and I was literally like that big. That was me. And then ever since then, I've been like that with the referees, like because you just don't know who you're talking to, and everyone's just trying to do the best. So I just absolutely melted, and I was like, you need to sub me off. I can't carry on. And then at the half time, I went and apologized to him. I was like, "Ooh, sorry." And then he told me off very loudly and said, "It doesn't matter if I was a colonel. You shouldn't be talking to a referee like that." And I was like, "Oh."
Get back in your box, Mr. Sinclair.
Proper whammy necking. Yeah, big time whammy necking there. You just don't know, do you? You know what I mean?
No.
Shouldn't be doing it anyway. Just, oh, man.
Adam, achievements. What's your best achievement in basketball? What are you most proud of?
This, I mean, as I
What?
mentioned
This
earlier on,
podcast?
this
Thank you.
podcast, Carl, top of the tree. I like I said, like it's been my baby. Like, I kind of grew it from the ground up, and to get to a place that we can win the second division and so convincingly. But more than that, the kind of environment that we've got like a proper band of close mates. Like it's almost like a cult, Carl, with George's fizz at the end and everything else. And honestly, some of the stuff that people are now doing outside of the sessions, that are taking themselves to the gym or they're going out for runs, and they're all this stuff because they want to get better. And I just feel like this product we've been able to kind of give to the community, because I
Yeah.
always see it as a community club first. And yeah, it makes me buzz. I'm probably kind of glowing now because I would never have thought that we'd get to the place that we've got to.
It,
And
it's good.
circumstance and timing play a large part, but it's awesome.
Yeah. But you've got to have someone at the helm, people there that will keep going and keep nurturing and, keep prodding away. And, the results speak for themselves. So, yeah, well done. Really
Thank
great.
you.
George.
So as a player, I'll do player and coach.
Yeah.
As a player, I was for 2 years the captain of the Combined Services, the Navy and the Marines teams, and I was the MVP of the inter-services in one of them years as well. So for player, that was me. Coaching, a little less dramatic. It was just the invite to go and coach at Titans. That was, sort of justifying your existence. It sounds really, because you can get a lot of imposter syndrome. I used to get it quite a lot, where you're sort of going, do I actually know what I'm talking about? And then someone does it and they improve, but the text message, the invite, like going, oh, somebody wants me.
Yeah.
It really cheered me up. I'm not going to lie, it really, really cheered me up.
And probably had a lot to do with timing, with everything, going on at
Yeah.
the time. And yeah, no, you're right. It's very, very nicely put, to be honest. Really good. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, um, time's ticking away. So, is there anything else you want to discuss in relation to Titans or?
Well, I guess it'd be rude of me, Carl, to not plug our Instagram page. You might have noticed you referenced earlier on the videos and stuff, and one of the guys, Tiago, sadly, he's had to go back to Brazil, but he's still supporting us with our Instagram, which is why the kind of quality and the volume of them has increased. So
That's brilliant.
Tiverton_Titans on Instagram.
Sorry,
Go
I
have
spoke over you. Just say it again or shut up. Sorry.
a Tiverton_Titans on Instagram, and you can see some of those grueling sessions. A real one to look out for is the hill, which was on Good Friday, if you remember the torrential rain, when a group of us, led
I've
by
seen
that
that one.
animal over there, got out over
I have seen that one. Yes, it's very good. And that's in itself is testament to the club you're building. All right, that someone's gone back, was a member of your club, and is still, gone back to Brazil and still doing that. Um, uh, these podcasts came about solely because, well, it was something I wanted to do in COVID. Didn't get round to it because there was so many preparations for post-COVID and getting basketball back. Um, But Pedro, who was one of the university students who was referee for 2 years,
Yeah.
had to go back to Portugal, unfortunately. He might say, well, no, unfortunately, he wants to stay he wants to stay in Exeter. Had to go back home to Portugal because couldn't secure a job over here. And he contacted me out of the blue and said, "You've always wanted to do these podcasts. Can I start doing some arrangements for you for them?" And you're thinking, that was a thank you. He said it's a thank you for everything you've done for, taking me on, officiating and getting me through it. So again,
Brilliant.
someone who's left the area is so pleased what we're offering. So the same as, there you go. Left your club, but still wants to make a mark on it because it's made an impression on him.
I
So
think, like George said, those little thank yous or gestures from people kind of means a lot because as you know, you don't get a lot out of this stuff other than your own joy. So, when people acknowledge that and pay it forward, it's really pretty rewarding.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I get thanks from the lads every time they turn up. I say there's more than one way to say thank you. So they say thank you with effort. Um, every time, maximum effort. And then, like I say, at the end of the season, I wrote them all reports. It was an absolute pain, but they all got reports and telling them good, bad, and all the rest of it, things to work on. Mega appreciative. And then again, it just brings on another wave of effort and sort of enjoyment. It's good.
I was going to say it shows dedication, George. Um, I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you very much for your evening. All right, thank you for sparing the time to come on. Good luck in the new season in Division One and Division Two. I think Division One might be a bit harder than last season for you, but having seen some of the, I'm going to call them beastings, I think you're going to surprise a few of them out there. All right, so
Hopefully.
Give it a
Cheers,
good
Carl.
go.
good luck. I'll see you soon.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Carl.
Carl.
Cheers. Take
Cheers.
care.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.